success is not something you pursue. That's the mistake. It's something you attract by the person you become, by the habits you polish in the quiet, unseen moments. Every day you're either sculpting your future or slowly surrendering it. And here's the kicker. Success doesn't chase noise, it chases discipline. It chases those who are consistent when it's boring, focused when it's hard, and faithful when no one is watching. If your daily routine can't tell me where you're going, neither can your dreams. The habits, the little things, how you think, how you show up, how you speak to yourself, these are the silent architects of your destiny. Now let's get serious. Let's explore the daily habits that don't just improve your life, they make success come knocking. Number 1, feed your mind with daily wisdom, not noise. Every day, the world hands you a buffet of distractions, noise disguised as information, entertainment disguised as growth. And if you're not careful, you'll consume all of it and wonder why you're mentally exhausted, but spiritually starving. The mind is no different from the body. Feed it junk, and it'll break down. Feed it wisdom, and it'll build you up. I've said it many times. Poor thinking habits keep most people poor. If the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life, then what you feed your mind determines your future. When I was just starting out, I used to waste time with whatever was popular. Television, gossip columns, idle talk. It filled my hours but never filled my mind. One day I heard a phrase that struck me: stand guard at the door of your mind. And that changed everything. I realized the power wasn't just in what I learned, it was in what I refused to consume. I turned off the noise, picked up a book, and began to listen to those who had gone further than I had ever imagined. And let me tell you, that simple shift was the beginning of my real education. Benjamin Franklin once said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest, but that knowledge doesn't walk in on its own. Every page you read, every wise word you hear becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. Most people scroll through life, hoping success will tap them on the shoulder. But you've got to make a conscious trade. Trade your idle scrolling for deep reading. Trade your morning noise for morning reflection. And watch how quickly your mind begins to work for you instead of against you. If you want success to chase you, you must become someone worth chasing. And that begins with your inputs, garbage in, garbage out. That's not just for computers, that's for the human mind. When you rise each morning and reach for your phone, ask yourself, am I feeding my mind or numbing it? Choose wisdom. Choose challenge. Choose the voices of those who've done it, who've earned it, and who've built something real. I remember listening to a man in my early days who said, don't just read the easy stuff. You may be entertained by it, but you will never grow from it. And so I dug deeper. I read philosophy, economics, human behavior, and anything that helps sharpen the mind and strengthen the spirit. I wasn't after entertainment. I was after elevation. That's the habit you must build. Feed your mind something each day that stretches you. Something that reminds you who you're becoming. What you consume in private becomes the clarity you project in public. If you want to speak with wisdom, live with insight, and make decisions with precision, then your mind must be full, not of noise, but of nourishment. So start today. Even 15 minutes of focused learning a day over a year could make you unrecognizable to your former self. Feed your mind well because your future depends on it. Next, guard your first hour ruthlessly. Most people wake up and hand their peace to the world before they've even gotten out of bed. They reach for their phones, scroll through noise, step into stress, and wonder why the rest of their day feels like a race they never chose to run. But let me tell you something I learned early in life. The first hour of your day sets the temperature for everything that follows. You don't drift into excellence, you design it. And that design begins with how you wake up. Either you run the day or the day runs you. That truth changed everything for me. I realized that if I gave away the first hour of my day to other people's priorities, I was no longer the architect of my own life. I was just a recipient. So I made a choice. I started guarding that first hour like it was sacred. And believe me, it is. Your first thoughts are powerful. They shape your attitude, your focus, your decisions. So instead of chaos, start with clarity. Sit in silence. Read something that builds you. Write something that grounds you. Reflect on your goals, your principles, your values. If the foundation is strong, the building will stand no matter what the weather brings. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, would begin his mornings reminding himself of the challenges he was likely to face during the day. He didn't do it to complain. He did it to prepare his mind. He knew that life doesn't promise ease, but it does reward those who are prepared. When I was a young man working on my own disciplines, I made it a ritual to rise early, sit quietly, read a few pages from a good book, and write down what I wanted to become. Not what I was, but who I intended to become. You see, that morning clarity is what separates the drifter from the doer. Most people live on autopilot, but if you want to attract wealth, influence, and peace, you need to begin your day like you mean it. You don't need 2 hours of rituals. You need 30 to 60 minutes of intention. Sit down, breathe, read, reflect, pray if that's your practice. But whatever you do, don't let the world storm in before you've had time to meet yourself. Discipline is what builds fortune, and discipline begins with how you start the day. The man who rises with direction is miles ahead of the man who rises with distraction. If you begin in panic, you'll chase calm all day. But if you begin in peace, you'll carry it with you like armor. So tomorrow morning, before you check who messaged you, before you look at the news, before you get pulled into the demands of others, pause. Own that first hour. Use it to set the tone, to build the mindset, to remind yourself of your mission. If you win that first hour, the rest of the day has a far better chance of falling in line. Number 3, master the art of self-discipline. Self-discipline isn't just a trait. It's the very foundation of success. It is the bridge between where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow. We all set goals, don't we? We have dreams, aspirations, and desires that fuel our passion. But what separates those who achieve these goals from those who only dream about them? It's discipline. Without discipline, goals remain nothing more than good intentions, wishful thinking at best. It's the ability to make yourself do what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it, that determines your success. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. This quote holds a truth I learned early in my journey. Success is never about wishing for it or hoping for it. Success is about the consistent daily commitment to doing the right things, even when no one is watching, even when it's hard, even when you'd rather do something else. It's about mastering yourself, your habits, your behaviors, your thoughts, and staying on course no matter the distractions or temptations along the way. I've seen it in my own life and in the lives of those around me. When you set a goal and give up after the first challenge, you've proven that you're not disciplined. But when you stay on track, when you make a commitment to yourself and stick to it no matter what, you become unstoppable. That's the magic of discipline. It makes you stronger. Think about it. Every time you break a promise you made to yourself, you weaken your character, you break your trust in yourself, and you lower your standards. But every time you keep a promise, you're telling yourself, I can do this. Over time, these small acts of discipline compound into massive changes in your life. Little by little, they build a strong, indestructible foundation that supports your big dreams. Self-discipline also isn't about rigid control. It's about balance. It's about knowing when to push yourself and when to rest, when to work and when to reflect. I remember back when I first started my career, I had big dreams, but I also had distractions and a tendency to procrastinate. But I committed to building discipline, step by step. I created routines, set small goals, and worked on improving myself every day. The results didn't come overnight, but as I consistently kept my promises to myself, they eventually did. Discipline allows you to delay gratification for the long-term benefits. It allows you to say no to the fleeting pleasures that might feel good in the moment, but would ultimately pull you further away from your goals. And it allows you to make decisions not based on what feels easy or comfortable, but on what will get you closer to the life you want to live. Now let's talk about how you can develop this discipline. It's simple. Start small. Pick one area of your life where you can start practicing discipline today. Whether it's waking up at the same time every day, eating healthier, or committing to an hour of work without distractions, make it a daily practice. And as you succeed in one area, move to the next. Understand that self-discipline is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And just like lifting weights, it might hurt at first, but the pain is a sign of growth. Soon you'll find yourself in a position where discipline feels natural, like second nature. Discipline, at its core, is the power to control your actions, decisions, and behaviors. When you master the art of self-discipline, you unlock the door to success. You become the person who not only dreams big, but takes the consistent actions necessary to bring those dreams to life. Success follows the one who keeps promises made to himself. So start today. Keep your promises, build your discipline, and watch your life transform. Number 4, track your progress daily. Tracking your progress is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools for achieving success. Think of it as your personal GPS. How do you know you're on the right track if you're not constantly checking where you are? You can't improve what you don't measure. The act of reviewing your results each day keeps you aware of where you stand, accountable to your goals, and aligned with your bigger vision. Imagine trying to drive to a destination without a map or directions. You'd likely end up lost, wasting time and energy only to realize you're not even close to where you want to be. Life is no different. If you're not tracking your progress, you're driving blind, hoping for success without a clear understanding of how close you are to your goals or what adjustments need to be made. Daily tracking helps you do more than just keep score. It gives you the insights necessary to make improvements. By measuring your progress daily, you gain clarity on what's working and what's not. This awareness empowers you to tweak your approach, optimize your efforts, and stay focused on what truly matters. When I started my journey, I realized the importance of tracking my progress. I would write down my goals, and at the end of each day, I'd review what I had accomplished. If I didn't hit my target, I'd ask myself why. What did I do wrong? What could I do better tomorrow? And if I had hit my target, I'd take a moment to appreciate the win and remind myself to keep the momentum going. It wasn't about perfection, it was about consistent improvement. Tracking your progress daily also holds you accountable. No one else will keep track of your progress for you. Accountability begins with you, and when you see the results of your actions in real time, you're more likely to stay committed. It's much harder to ignore your progress when it's right in front of you. Every day, your results are a reflection of your actions or lack of them. It also gives you a sense of achievement. Often we get so caught up in our long-term goals that we forget to celebrate the small wins. But those small wins are the building blocks of success. Each day you track, you are affirming that you're moving forward, even if it's just a tiny step. Over time, those little steps add up and you begin to see the bigger picture, the growth, the progress, the distance you've traveled. I also want to emphasize that tracking doesn't always have to be formal or complicated. It doesn't require a spreadsheet or a journal, though those are great tools. It can be as simple as asking yourself each evening, did I move closer to my goals today? The more frequently you do this, the more aware you become of your behaviors and your results. The more you ask yourself these questions, the clearer it becomes what needs to be adjusted. Your progress is a direct reflection of your daily actions. So when you start measuring your results daily, it's like shining a light on your path. It becomes easier to see where you're succeeding, where you need to focus more, and what you need to eliminate. You're no longer stumbling in the dark, hoping for a breakthrough. You're actively working toward it one day at a time. And here's the most important part. When you track your progress, you're building momentum. Every day you measure, you reinforce the habit of striving for improvement. It's the little daily actions that stack up to create massive results over time. Those who track their progress are the ones who succeed. They're the ones who don't just wish for success, they create it day by day. So start today. Track your progress, hold yourself accountable, and watch your journey unfold. You'll be amazed at how much more focused and productive you become when you measure where you're headed and take intentional steps to get there. Success is not an accident. It's the result of consistent, deliberate actions. Track your progress and let it lead you to the life you desire. Next, turn routine into ritual. Routine can easily become monotonous, but when you turn your routine into a ritual, You elevate it to something sacred. Every successful person I've met understands this simple principle. Repetition is the mother of mastery. It's the consistent, deliberate actions that separate the successful from those who struggle. And here's the truth. What's ordinary to most people must become extraordinary to you, especially your habits. Think about it. Everyone has routines. Getting up in the morning, having breakfast, checking emails, going to work. But here's the catch. Just because something is routine doesn't mean it's helping you. Most people go through the motions without any thought or intention behind their actions. But when you turn those routines into rituals, they become a source of power. Rituals are routines infused with meaning, purpose, and a deeper commitment. One of the key habits that propelled my success was turning seemingly small tasks into powerful rituals. For example, when I first started reading, it wasn't just about checking off a book on my list. It became a ritual. I made it a point to read with a purpose. I didn't just read for entertainment. I read to gain knowledge, to grow, to learn something that could move me closer to my goals. Each page I turned, I treated as a piece of wisdom to shape my future. This ritual helped me absorb lessons and ideas that became the foundation of my success. It's easy to underestimate the power of routine, but when you approach it with the right mindset, it becomes your greatest ally. Your morning ritual, for instance, can set the tone for the entire day. If you rush through your morning routine, barely awake, checking your phone for messages and diving straight into work, you're already starting the day with chaos. But if you transform your morning into a focused ritual, perhaps meditating, reading something inspirational, planning your day with clarity, suddenly you're moving forward with intention. You're already setting yourself up for success before the world even has a chance to knock you off track. Success is built in these rituals. How you wake up, what you choose to focus on, how you handle adversity. All of these things, day in and day out, form the foundation of your future. When you elevate these daily actions to the level of ritual, you begin to create a sense of sacredness in your actions. You stop seeing them as chores or tasks, and instead you see them as powerful, intentional steps toward your bigger vision. Take exercise, for example. Most people see it as something they have to do to stay healthy. But when you make exercise a ritual, it transforms. You begin to enjoy the process, not just the results. It becomes an act of self-love, an investment in your future energy and vitality. It becomes something sacred because you're not just doing it to check a box. You're doing it to honor yourself, your body, and your goals. The same goes for your work. Your work ethic can go from being just a job to becoming a sacred calling. Instead of seeing your work as something you have to do, you start seeing it as your contribution to your larger purpose. It becomes a ritual of service, of excellence, and of striving to make the world a better place with your unique skills and abilities. Remember, excellence is not a one-time event. It's a series of habits and rituals performed consistently. And over time, these rituals become second nature. You begin to see success not as something you're chasing, but as something that is attracted to you. The more you turn your ordinary routines into sacred rituals, the more you elevate every part of your life. You become someone who doesn't just go through the motions, but someone who creates meaning in every action they take. So today, I challenge you to think about your daily routines. What do you do every day without much thought? Can you turn those simple tasks into rituals that move you closer to your goals? When you elevate your actions to that level, you'll start to see things change. Your life will begin to align with your purpose. Your success will no longer feel distant. It will start chasing you. Remember, it's not the big leaps that lead to success. It's the small, consistent rituals that compound over time. And when you make your routine sacred, success becomes a natural byproduct. Number 6, push 1 inch beyond comfort daily. Success doesn't come from staying within your comfort zone. It comes from pushing just a little bit beyond it every single day. The truth is, success doesn't chase the comfortable. It chases the ones who are always striving for growth, always looking to improve, always pushing their limits, no matter how small those steps may seem. You see, it's not about taking giant leaps every time. It's about taking one small step day in and day out towards something bigger than yourself. It's easy to get comfortable. We all have our routines, our habits, and our familiar places that make us feel safe. But here's the problem. Nothing great ever happens inside your comfort zone. All the growth, all the breakthroughs, all the achievements come when you dare to take that small step outside your comfort zone. It doesn't have to be big. In fact, sometimes it's the small, consistent pushes that bring the most powerful results. Take, for example, a simple habit like waking up a little earlier. For most people, the morning is a time for rest and relaxation. But if you push yourself just an inch beyond your usual waking time, you can turn that extra hour into a powerful moment of growth. Whether it's reading, exercising, planning your day, or simply having some quiet time to center yourself, that extra inch can make a huge difference. Or consider the idea of learning something new. We all have areas where we feel uncertain, where we're not yet experts, and it's easy to say, I'll learn later, but instead of waiting for the perfect time, why not push yourself today? Learn just one new thing. It could be a new word, a new concept, or a new skill. One small piece of knowledge today might be the foundation for your success tomorrow. It's all about stretching yourself, even if it's just a little. When I started my journey towards success, I didn't know everything, but every time I stretched a little beyond my comfort zone, I learned more, became more confident, and grew a little bit stronger. That's how success works. It's about those small, daily pushes that add up over time. Those small pushes compound into something much bigger. Success is not a sudden, massive transformation. It's a gradual process of stretching and growing, 1 inch at a time. Another great example is in physical fitness. Most people avoid exercise because it's uncomfortable, but if you push yourself just a little bit more each day, whether it's running a little farther, lifting a little heavier, or doing one more rep, you'll see results. It doesn't take much, just a consistent small push beyond your comfort zone. And the more you stretch, the stronger you get, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. It's the same in business or in personal development. The successful ones are the ones who are willing to stretch just a little bit further each day. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it by constantly challenging themselves to grow. Whether it's reaching out to a new connection, learning a new tool, or setting a higher target, success happens when you stretch just a little beyond what feels comfortable. And here's the kicker. When you push yourself beyond your comfort zone, something amazing happens. The world begins to stretch back to meet you. Opportunities start appearing, challenges start looking less intimidating. People start taking notice. Growth begets growth, and the more you stretch, the more the universe aligns to help you succeed. It's important to remember that success doesn't require big, dramatic changes every day. Sometimes it's just that small inch you push beyond your comfort zone that makes all the difference. Success is like a muscle. You don't build it all at once, you build it one small, consistent push at a time. So ask yourself, where in your life can you push just a little beyond your comfort zone today? Maybe it's making that tough phone call, tackling a project you've been avoiding, or simply getting up earlier. Whatever it is, take that small step, stretch yourself, and you'll see how far you can really go. The road to success is paved by those who push themselves daily, even if it's just an inch beyond where they were yesterday. And that's where the magic happens. Next, stay around driven people. The people you surround yourself with have a far greater impact on your success than you may realize. If you want to be successful, you need to place yourself in environments that challenge you, inspire you, and push you to grow. It's a simple law of life. Your environment shapes your habits, and your habits shape your destiny. If you're constantly surrounded by people who are driven, motivated, and focused on growth, then naturally you will begin to adopt those same qualities. But if you're around those who are content with mediocrity, you'll find yourself settling for less than what you're capable of achieving. You might not realize it, but energy is contagious. The people you spend the most time with are either fueling your fire or draining it. If you're surrounded by individuals who are always thinking big, setting ambitious goals, and challenging themselves to become better every day, you'll naturally start doing the same. It's the power of positive influence. Their drive will elevate your own, and their success will become the catalyst for your own breakthroughs. I remember a time when I was starting out and surrounded by people who were skeptical of my dreams. They doubted the possibility of success, and without realizing it, would often bring me down to their level of thinking. I quickly realized that to move forward, I had to distance myself from that negative energy and start surrounding myself with those who were already where I wanted to be. And let me tell you, that simple shift in my environment was a game changer. Suddenly I was exposed to new ideas, new strategies, and a level of ambition I hadn't seen before. It's not just about being around people who are successful. It's about finding people who are constantly striving to better themselves, who challenge their own limits and who have the mindset that there's always room for improvement. When you surround yourself with driven people, their enthusiasm will spark something in you. It becomes a dynamic, positive feedback loop. You'll start feeding off each other's energy, pushing each other to take the next step, and constantly raising the bar for what's possible. On the other hand, if you spend most of your time with people who are content with staying where they are, those who are stuck in complacency or negativity, then it becomes easy to fall into the same mindset. Comfort becomes the enemy and your growth starts to stagnate. Remember, growth doesn't happen when you're in a room of people who are content with mediocrity. It happens when you're surrounded by individuals who push you to be better. Take a moment to reflect on your current circle of influence. Are the people around you inspiring you to reach higher? Are they challenging you to break through your limits? Or are they encouraging you to stay where it's comfortable? It's crucial that you surround yourself with individuals who lift you up, not bring you down. For example, consider the difference between a professional athlete and someone who has no interest in improving their health. The athlete is surrounded by coaches, trainers, and teammates who encourage them to push harder every day. Their environment is designed for success. But the person who has no interest in health might be surrounded by friends who reinforce unhealthy habits. Their environment therefore limits their potential. The key to accelerating your success is putting yourself in a position where you are constantly surrounded by people who challenge you to grow. Seek out those who inspire you, who are on a mission, who are pursuing their own success with relentless focus. Don't settle for relationships that drain your energy or keep you complacent. You need those who will hold you accountable. Look at the success stories of the most accomplished individuals. They didn't get there by surrounding themselves with people who were satisfied with average. They sought out mentors, peers, and colleagues who pushed them to new heights and forced them to become the best versions of themselves. Ultimately, the people you spend your time with will either lift you up or hold you back. Choose wisely. Stay around those who make you stretch, not settle. Their energy will elevate your actions, and together you'll all rise to new levels of success. So as you go through your day, ask yourself, are the people around me helping me grow, or am I just settling for what's easy? Change your environment, change your life. Number 8, end each day with gratitude and review. Each day offers a new opportunity, a fresh canvas to paint with your efforts, your actions, and your mindset. But too often we let the day slip by without taking a moment to pause and reflect. The most successful individuals I know understand one critical practice. They end their day with reflection. They take time to look back at what they've done, what they've learned, and what they can do better tomorrow. It's a simple habit, yet one of the most powerful tools for continuous growth. When you reflect on your day, you gain clarity. You give yourself the opportunity to process the experiences of the day and turn them into valuable lessons. What worked well? What could have been done differently? These questions are essential because they help you become more self-awareness and allow you to improve consistently. Success isn't about getting everything right the first time, but about learning from every experience and making progress each day. Reflecting on your actions lets you see where you need to adjust. Think about it. Without reflection, there's no growth. If you go through each day with your head down, focusing only on what's immediately in front of you, you're bound to miss the bigger picture. By taking the time to look back, you turn every experience, whether good or bad, into a stepping stone for future success. One of the most important aspects of this daily review is to ask yourself, what did I give today? Often, we focus on what we received, whether it's achievements, praise, or material things. But true success isn't about what you get, it's about what you give. This question shifts your perspective. It reminds you to contribute, whether it's through the value you bring to your work, the kindness you offer to others, or the positive energy you spread. Success isn't just about self-gain. It's about making a difference, no matter how small, in someone else's life. Ending your day with gratitude is just as important. In a world that constantly pushes us toward more achievements, more wealth, more success, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and lose sight of the simple blessings we already have. Gratitude has a way of shifting our focus away from lack and toward abundance. It reminds us that there's always something to be thankful for. Whether it's the opportunity to work, the people in our lives, or the lessons we've learned, gratitude aligns our mindset with success by fostering a positive, growth-oriented outlook. I remember in my own journey, I didn't always have much. There were times when the road ahead seemed uncertain and the challenges felt insurmountable. But even in those moments, I would end my day with a simple gratitude practice. I'd reflect on the day, acknowledge what I had learned, and appreciate the steps I had taken, no matter how small. This practice helped me stay grounded and motivated even during tough times. It reminded me that success wasn't just about achieving big goals, but also about appreciating the journey along the way. When you take this time for reflection, it sharpens your edge. You're not just going through the motions. You're actively learning, growing, and improving. You're developing a habit of continuous progress that eventually compounds into massive success. It's a discipline, a ritual that sets you apart from those who simply exist rather than live with intention. So, each night before you lay your head down, ask yourself, what did I learn today? What did I give? What can I improve tomorrow? By asking these questions, you not only cultivate a mindset of growth, but also prepare yourself for the challenges of the next day. End your day with gratitude and reflection, and you'll find yourself on a path of constant self-improvement and success. Every night is a chance to reset, sharpen your focus, and grow stronger. Make that your habit. Make it your edge. At the end of every day, before you close your eyes, there's a simple yet profound practice that can dramatically shift your life: reflection. We live in a world full of distractions and constant movement, and it's easy to let the day slip by without pausing to consider what we've learned or how we've grown. But growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when we take the time to consciously reflect on our actions, our thoughts, and the experiences we've encountered. Reflection before you sleep isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity for anyone who wants to succeed. The first step in this process is to look back at the day with honesty. What went well? What did you do that moved you closer to your goals? Celebrate those small wins. It's important to acknowledge and give yourself credit for the progress you've made, no matter how small it seems. Success is a series of small steps that accumulate over time, and recognizing those steps is what keeps you motivated and focused. This is the first part of reflection. Recognizing the victories, no matter how seemingly insignificant they may be. But reflection is also about looking at where you could have done better. When you examine your thoughts, actions, and decisions, you gain clarity about where you fell short. What were the moments that didn't align with your values or your goals? Were there moments when you procrastinated? Did you let fear, doubt, or excuses stop you from taking action? Recognizing these moments isn't about self-criticism or beating yourself up. It's about learning. Every day offers an opportunity to get better, and part of that process is identifying where you can improve. As you recognize where you fell short, you can create strategies to ensure that those mistakes aren't repeated. The goal isn't perfection. No one is perfect, but progress. And the only way to progress is by being honest with yourself about where you can improve. But reflection isn't just about your actions. It's about your thoughts and emotions too. Ask yourself, how did I feel today? What thoughts consumed my mind? Were they positive or negative? How did my emotions shape my behavior? Your emotions are powerful forces, and they influence everything you do. When you reflect on your emotional state, you gain valuable insight into how it's affecting your decisions and your progress. Sometimes we can get swept away by negative emotions, allowing them to cloud our judgment or derail our progress. Reflecting on your emotions helps you understand their impact and gives you the tools to manage them better in the future. In addition to reflecting on the day itself, think about what you've learned. What lessons have you gained from your experiences? Maybe you learned something new about your strengths or weaknesses. Perhaps you realized something about how you work best or how to manage your time more effectively. Every experience, whether good or bad, carries a lesson. The key is to be open to learning from it. Growth doesn't happen when you simply go through the motions of life. It happens when you pause and reflect on those experiences with the intention of learning from them. As you reflect, think about your bigger picture. How does what you did today fit into your long-term goals? Are you getting closer to your vision of success, or do you need to adjust your approach? When you regularly reflect on your actions in relation to your long-term objectives, you ensure that you're staying aligned with your purpose. It's easy to get distracted by the noise of daily life, but reflection brings clarity and helps you stay focused on what truly matters. Finally, end your reflection with gratitude. Take a moment to appreciate the day, the lessons you've learned, and the opportunities that lie ahead. Gratitude shifts your perspective and helps you see the abundance in your life rather than focusing on what's lacking. It's the perfect way to end the day on a positive note and prepare yourself for tomorrow. So, take the time each night to reflect on your actions, your emotions, your lessons, and your growth. When you do this consistently, you'll notice a significant shift in your life. Not only will you become more self-aware and intentional, but you'll also develop a deeper sense of purpose and clarity. Reflection is a powerful tool for anyone who wants to continue growing and moving closer to their goals. It's in those quiet moments of reflection that the seeds of tomorrow's success are planted. Follow these habits, and you can achieve anything you want in your life.